We left the Everglades National Park on a Saturday with a stop for produce at Robert Is Here. At the time we reserved our campsite, it wasn't crowded, so we figured it would be easy to get a couple more days if we couldn't get into any of the campsites at the very popular state parks in the Keys. Well, we didn't realize this weekend was a holiday weekend. It was Martin Luther King Day that Monday, so everything was full, including the national park campsites. Not to worry, we had a backup plan. The Cracker Barrel in Florida City allows people to stay overnight in their parking lot. We ended up staying 2 nights there, and I used some of our downtime to replace the blower motor that had quit working in the RV. We did visit the John Penkamp State Park on Key Largo while our camper was parked at Cracker Barrel.
We made it to a key. We are in John Penkamp State Park and we're kayaking in the mangroves again.
This one's a little more crowded.
Yeah, a few more people, so it's not quite as...
It's going to be a lot easier navigating here.
Not as quite as solitude as it was in the Everglades, but anyway, it's going to be a beautiful day.
This time we brought a drink with us.
Yeah, cheers.
Did a little kayaking, a little hiking, and had a little picnic with some of the goodies we got from Robert Is Here produce. I'll tell you what, the guacamole and salsa were some of the best I've had, and we've been around a bit. That evening, our second at Cracker Barrel, was when this was happening back home. Of course, we missed it. It's been a few years since Knoxville area had seen that much snow, and we missed it. Instead, we were making our way further south and hoping for the best with no reservations and one last national park to see on the eastern side of the U.S. We got lucky with the spot at Bahia Honda State Park, and we made the best of the one day we had here.
He's coming up. Oh, look, there we go. There we go. It's so cute.
Hello.
Hi.
This is the Wandering Murphys from Baja Honda Key State Park in south of Florida. And we're wishing everyone back home in Tennessee a happy Monday, and hopefully you're staying warm.
I guess it's official. We're snowbirds now.
We spent some time on the beach. Tammy had a little more while I was waiting to see if we had a site for the night. We got lucky. That evening we enjoyed a sunset hike up to an old bridge that is no longer in use and is part of the state park. The next morning was a beautiful sunrise and a delicious breakfast with more of the produce from Robert Is Here. We got our bikes out for a morning ride and had much better luck not getting eaten by mosquitoes. But by noon, we were on our way, due west. We got lucky again with a campsite in a crowded, expensive, but friendly campground on Big Pine Key. We killed a rainy, balmy day at the campsite, planning our next move to get to the Dry Tortugas. This is what we came up with. The plan was to get up early, move the RV to a parking spot, since we didn't have 2 nights in the same spot, drive the 45 minutes to Key West, get there in time to get on the ferry to the national park, if there are cancellations and there is room. Solid plan. Spoiler alert, we didn't get on the boat. Here are some pictures of our day in Key West while I talk about how our plan failed. I don't think Taylor would like it here. There's lots of these roosters walking around in the streets. for some reason. We got up at 6, got ready, got moved, and were on the road by 7. No problem. Google said it would take 45 minutes, and the boat didn't leave till 8. I can usually beat Google's time. Well, things started to fall apart fast. First, Google changed its mind about the 45 minutes. Now it's 55 minutes. Then we started hitting traffic. Who knew they had schools and stuff on the Keys? I thought it was all tourists, covered in oil, sitting on their front porches, boiling shrimp tails. Anyway, it took us an hour and 15 minutes to get there. I went inside just to see if there was room. There was, and if we had left earlier, we could have made it. A lot earlier, though. The nice lady behind the glass said, "Sometimes people start lining up at 4:30 a.m. Oh well. So we spent the day at Key West and made a new plan. We had a great day in Key West. We walked by the Hemingway house and learned a bit about the 61 cats that call this place home. We stopped for a drink at the Green Parrot, established in 1890. Check out this iconic pic of Muhammad Ali and the Beatles. Also, my favorite, this display case with 2 signed guitars of my 2 favorite bands.
We stopped at the Green Parrot to have a drink, pina colada. James is having a margarita. This bar has been here since 1890.
Or at least that's what the sign says.
Yeah.
Go inside and take a video of the interior. It's crowded though already.
Yeah.
From there, we hiked the famous Duval Street. Got a little off the beaten path looking for the Basilica. Got some compliments on my new backpack Tammy made for me for Christmas. Made our way back to the busy part, then ended our hike where we started. That night, we went to the No Name pub for dinner and finally got some good pics of the key deer that we had seen so many signs for. Ended up turning around once because Tammy thought she saw some people petting the deer. Turned out to be people walking their dogs.
We are at No Name Pub. Look at all these dollars all over the place. This is a local place here on Big Pine Key. Yeah. It is covered in dollars.
Okay, the plan. Get up at 4 and be on the road by 5. Make it to the ferry by 6-ish and get on the wait list. Done. We were 4 and 5 on the list, and they usually have room for 4 with no cancellations.
We made it! We got on the boat! We're going to the Dry Tortugas! Yay!
So far,
National Park number 34!
we were the last 2 so far.
Alright!
We're on.
We're headed to the boat. James is so stoked. I am too, but he wanted this really bad. So yes, we are headed to the Dry Tortugas National Park. Well, here we go. On our way.
It takes the Yankee Freedom 2 hours and 15 minutes to make the 72-mile trip from Key West to the Dry Tortugas. Today was a relatively smooth ride, but some people did get sick. Thankfully, neither of us did. Some history about the park and islands. The park is 100 square miles and 99% is water. It has 7 islands or keys. Garden Key has a fort on it. It was made a national park in 1992 by an act of Congress. Some facts about Fort Jefferson. Constructed between 1846 and 1874, the fort was never completed due to the Civil War and island instability. The fort is the largest in the U.S. with 2,000 arches and 16 million bricks. The fort was never attacked and never changed hands. Well, here we are. Fort Jefferson at the Dry Tortugas. It's about 170 of our closest friends for the day.
Hello guys, look, we made it, the Dry Tortugas National Park number 34.
Or 5, I don't know, something like that.
It's 34.
Currently, the fort is home to about a dozen National Park employees that live here for 3 years on average. There is no water other than rainwater or desalinized. The park employees live in a converted section of the fort. That would be awesome. You can talk. You're loud. Our plan for the day was to take a guided tour, or part of a guided tour, then tour on our own a bit, lunch, then hit the beach for some swimming and snorkeling.
I have to say that when people ask, what's the best national park you've been to? This just might be it. This is definitely the prettiest.
Yeah, this one.
Wow, this is incredible.
The water around the fort holds part of the 3rd largest coral reefs in the world. The reef extends all the way back to the Florida mainland at Biscayne Bay. Got a little close there.
There's James out there snorkeling around the moat. I tried. Started getting seasick. Just can't seem to snorkel anymore. So I pulled off in the water. Now I'm going for a walk along the moat.
Here we are, snorkeling in a national park.
I'm not snorkeling.
I don't know if you can see it back there, but the Dry Tortugas is in our rearview mirror now. It was a good trip.
We're exhausted,
Yeah.
but we did it.
Back in Key West, we had a good dinner at Off the Hook, then headed back to our primitive campsite on Big Pine Key.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are at Curry Hammock State Park. We are on our way out of the Keys, but we really didn't get to do a lot of kayaking over the last few days. So we decided to stop and do some kayaking before we actually leave the Keys. So we picked this little state park, and we're going to go out here and paddle and see. I don't know what it is. It's definitely moving around. It's some type of jellyfish. I can't seem to focus in on it too good. There we go. It's a little better. Well, I think this is it. I think this is the end of our adventure in the Keys. We're getting ready to load up the kayaks and head out. This has been an amazing trip. Look, look at the black clouds behind me. So maybe it's supposed to rain this afternoon. I don't know. But it sure has been nice. It's really nice cloudy out here. It's a good time to paddle without the sun beating down on you. Anyway, let's load them up. Head on to the next adventure.
We spent a third night at Cracker Barrel back on the mainland, then pointed our camper north. We planned to stop at Shark Valley in the Everglades National Park, but they had no room for us, so we pressed on. We stopped at Big Cypress Oasis Visitor Center, got up close to some gators. Then, a little further down the road, we stopped for a guided hike with a ranger where I finally learned what a cypress dome was.
We are in the Big Cypress National Preserve. We're out on a boardwalk today. We're doing a ranger walk, so there's a group of us. This place is pretty cool.
On the road again, just a few miles from there, we stopped for the night at a little roadside park. Very nice spot, time we found on iOverlander. Beautiful sunset, but the mosquitoes were relentless. Sunrise was just as good, and after a short walk and a quick breakfast, we were on the road again.
Good morning!
Morning.
As we're making our way north, we are over on the west coast of Florida, and we have stopped at Manatee Springs State Park. So we're getting ready to go for a little walk over towards their boardwalk to see if we can find some manatee.
I already come out here just to scope it out, and it's pretty cool. So we got some video already. He's going to be really happy with what we find here. It's a nice little park. It's going to be a good day. A good last day in Florida, we think. So.
All right, let's go check it out.
Well, it may not come all the way out. That one just took a breath. Not taking another breath. Yeah. While watching these manatees, there was a nice ranger there to tell us some facts about these gentle giants. First, they are solitary, but when in a group, it's called an aggregation. They can hold their breath up to 13 minutes. They are also known to live well past 40 years. Later, we took a short hike, learned who William Bartram was, had lunch, then hit the road. We were in Georgia later that day and spent the night in Macon. But this was a good trip. We got our 3 national parks done, and we visited quite a few other state parks, did quite a bit of kayaking.
We did a lot of
bike
state
riding,
parks.
some boondocking, spent some time in the campgrounds, spent a lot of money, so we're gonna go back home, go back to work. Our next stop was planned for what may happen in the future. Okmulgee Mounds National Historic Park is petitioning Congress to become the nation's 64th national park, and if so, we want to have this one already in the bag. It was a nice stop, full of history, and another mention from William Bartram. How strange. But we will save this video for when it becomes a national park. Home was calling. The wandering Murphys will answer.
Well, here we are, back in town, washing all the salt and the grime off the girl. She did really good on another long trip. Clean her and put her away till April, till we head cross country.